Ladies and gentlemen, 2 nights ago, I was planning on trying to come up here and catch up on content. And, I felt that ending 2022 that had some of the craziest wrestling headlines of the year that hopefully will be discussed in a hopefully upcoming 2022 end of the year awards video. I didn't do one for 2021, but I would like to do one again if I could. But 2022 was a crazy year for wrestling. But stuff that happened that I thought could be leading for some good things to come in 2023. And in the first week of 2023, we're already competing for big headlines from last year. And this one, not really in a good way. And I was that upset about this. You probably saw me rant on Twitter. I was just that upset about everything, about the news. And I just thought it's back to how it was before last summer. But then, of course, I cooled off. Because I read the reports, even though I still have my doubts, and I still have my worries. And again, this is all just my opinion. If you guys are happy with what happened this week, and the possibilities, and the very likelihood of what might happen, could happen, if you guys are happy with that, excellent. I'm glad you're happy. Let me just voice, though, my opinion here about all this. So, as we all know, one of the big headlines from 2022 was that Vince McMahon retired back in July of 2022 amidst allegations that he had been accused of and involved with some hush money as well, using, I believe, company money instead of personal money, I believe, from what I remember hearing. Don't quote me on it. However, recently, there's been news leaking out that Vince McMahon claims, I think I did a video recently, where Vince McMahon claims that he was given bad advice, and now that I think he was clearing the air with all those allegations he had, or whatnot, now he wants to come back. And, the board's like, no, not happening. And the other thing, too, is Triple H has brought talent back since Vince McMahon retired. And now with what's happening here, some of those same talent could be heading right back out the door soon. Maybe. We'll, of course, get to the bright side for now. So Vince McMahon really got told no about coming back. Thursday afternoon, I hear that Vince McMahon is basically trying to bully his way back into the company. Because, and again, here's the other thing too. Let me give this disclaimer out there, so that way you guys aren't trashing on me or judging me. I don't understand business. I do not understand the stock market. I don't understand any of that stuff. I probably never will. But Vince McMahon, from what I'm told, is still the number one shareholder of WWE stock. So he, of course, still has somewhat of a say on the business side of things. And he wrote letters basically stating as the number one stockholder when it comes to the TV deals and, a possible sale in 2023 for WWE. If they do not allow him to be on the board, then he's not going to approve any TV deals. Basically, he's going to he held the company hostage. What a bully. He can't let go. He cannot let go and just move on. Because he knows nothing else. He knows nothing else except running this company that he inherited from his father. So, of course, this caused a huge outrage. Like, oh my goodness. Like, he's just one of those guys that you can't stand, but he always, and he's not, he doesn't seem so bright, but as a businessman, again, at 77 years old, Vince McMahon is still a ruthless businessman with no mercy, and he will find any small loophole he can to make him to win. Including back in 2020 when he's being told, stop, hanging out at the warehouse and producing the shows, he comes out and says, well, we're essential media. Every time I mock Vince's voice, I have to go, essential media. I use like the hand movements that he would do. I think he's all powerful and whatnot and can't be touched. Like, it's again, he's a real life villain that you just want to take out. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh dear God, no. And then Thursday evening, I first get a text from my friend. Then I get an ESPN alert confirming Vince McMahon unretires and is back with WWE. And I was pissed. I was fuming. I remember, because my Thursday night shows were back on this week that I watch on Thursday nights. When I was done, I came up here, no graphics, and I started recording. But like midway through the recording, I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense. It's just me, just ranting with no flow. I hated the video. I absolutely hated it. I stopped it. And I just said, just go to sleep. Cool off, get more info tomorrow, and then of course go from there, which I was not able to, because I was trying to do other content. I was not able to get to this one yesterday, but I got to it, of course, tonight. So Vince McMahon essentially sent a letter as like the number one shareholder, stating that, with the upcoming TV deals and sales, he thinks it's best he takes part in that. And here's the thing. If Vince just wants to take part in like the business side of it, I can say fine, but not 100% confident. If that's all he wants to do, I think we can live with that. Because he's also said he has full support of the management and the direction of the product right now, with Stephanie and Nick Khan as co-chairman, chairwoman and chairman, and with Triple H, his son-in-law, in charge of creative. He has all the support for them. Right now, basically saying, I just want to be on the board, let everything else be the way it is. Even though a few weeks ago, he wanted it all back. He wanted to be CEO. He wanted to be head of creative. He wanted his old job back fully. But he couldn't get it. But the reason why I say, even though we're saying this now, and again, if you're comfortable with this, cool. But in my situation, what my worries are, we all know Vince McMahon is a very manipulative guy. We all know Vince McMahon can find those loopholes. If he's back on the board, which he is, and then of course they had to remove 3 other board members for him to bring back 2 others that he's done business with for a long time. And I believe 1 or 2 others did quit whenever Vince got reinstated on Friday. And I think they also added somebody else to the board as well in their place. So there's been some changes. And they actually had to have an employee meeting. No, like, wrestlers. It was all just, like, writers and, like behind the scenes staff. Basically telling everybody. Because at this point, like I said, to those who came back because Vince left, like, you bet there's going to be an uproar. You bet talent's going to be upset. But there had to be a meeting basically stating, just because Vince, I know Vince is back, but there's going to be no change to the day-to-day operations. Everybody still has their jobs. He's just back on the board, and he wants to take part in the sale of the company and the upcoming new TV deals. I still think that's fair. But again, it's Vince McMahon. He can wake up one morning and think one thing. Wake up the next morning, think totally different. He could love a storyline one day, hate it the next day, rip it up, start something new. That, again, makes absolutely no sense. And it's literally just like the current thought he has that just makes him laugh and wet his pants. I cannot trust Vince McMahon to not... If he bullied his way back onto the board, how do you not know he's not going to do the same thing to get back to his old position? Who can say that he cannot be like that guy just sit in the corner like, okay, I'll sit back, I'll let you be. Yeah, that Gunther guy, I don't know if I want to have a TV deal with him as my Intercontinental Champion. Get rid of him. I can get rid of him. I can have the board change who's in charge of creative. Like, you can't tell me, not only that he can manipulate his way and just, give Triple H hell, that he doesn't want to work for Vince. And you can't tell me Vince has the power to, override, his Stephanie's, Nick Khan's, and Triple H's roles to get back to the position where he was. The CEO and the head of creative. Which, again, if that ever happened again, I don't think I'd be immediately stopping, my weekly reviews for WWE again. And just reviewing pay-per-views. And only previewing, WrestleMania and maybe SummerSlam. You can't tell me that Vince McMahon, who just a few weeks ago wanted to get his full job back, is not going to come back and just say, I just want to be a part of the sale, and then leave. Or, you can't tell me Vince McMahon is going to sell the company to somebody who's going to give him everything he wants, favor him in management. You can't tell me he's going to find the loopholes. Again, he may not be the brightest man in the world anymore. He may be a senile old man, super out of touch, but he is a manipulative and aggressive businessman that's just a pure asshole. I'm sorry. That's what he is. Vince McMahon is a pure asshole who's full of his ego. Is he successful? Yes, he's a successful businessman. He has a successful company, a successful resume. But he's out of touch, and he does not need to be writing for these people who are actually passionate about the one thing he's not passionate about. Professional wrestling. He hates professional wrestling. And here's the thing also. Here is the biggest difference as to why I don't, completely get that as upset when WWE does not put on a great, show, a great episode of Raw or SmackDown or whatnot. It's because I know that Triple H is not purposely toying with us. Vince McMahon, he knows what we don't want, but he's going to give us what we don't want. And he's going to toy with us. And he's going to do things that he is obviously sending a message through other people. If Vince McMahon would just try and not try to toy and manipulate with his audience and be a liar, then of course it wouldn't be as much of a problem. But again, that's the reason why I stopped reviewing Raw and SmackDown. Or the fact that, again, there was nothing to talk about is because the shows were just nothing but Vince McMahon's playground and him just taking a big, massive shit on all of us, basically. So again, yes, that's why, I don't completely shit on Tony Khan. I mean, yes, I mentioned why I didn't like the show, but again, I know he is not, as someone else like Tony Khan, Triple H. There are people there that are not, yes, they have the competition, but they're not trying to purposely insult their fans, like Vince McMahon does. That's why I get pissed off. That's why I don't want him in charge of creative. I mean, yes, he's going to push whoever he wants. He's not going to make things make sense. He's going to insult our intelligence. But again, if he would just have some respect for his audience, then we'd be in a little bit of a more, reasonable story. Like, it's a totally different scenario. So, again, him being on the board is only right now is not the end of the world. As long as, of course, Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, and Triple H can stand firm and make sure he does not do something to take away their positions and he takes back his power, we should be okay. But again, also, how do you not know he's not going to sell it to somebody who favors him in charge? Like I said, he's manipulative, and when he doesn't get his way, he always has a plan. As his son-in-law's TV character once said on TV, there's always a plan B, and I win. I always win. And again, that's just how Vince McMahon feels like. That powerful villain. That, honest to God, we need more often on wrestling TV. That powerful villain that just always wins. And just, we want to see them one time, get put in their place. And that, for you guys, is Vince McMahon. So again, here's my thoughts. If he stays on the board, does not touch creative, we should be okay. But don't be surprised if he manipulates himself back into getting his old positions back. Just saying. Do not be surprised. Guys, in a civil manner, what are your guys' thoughts on Vince McMahon bullying his way back onto the board? Do you think he will someday get his old position back as the CEO and head of creative in WWE? And do you want that to happen? Or do you not want that to happen? Or do you think he will stand by his word and just be here for the sale and to be on the board and the TV deals and continue to keep his word that he has faith in Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, and Triple H? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93, and make sure to follow me on TikTok at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll see you guys all soon for my SmackDown review. Have a great rest of your night, and peace out, everybody.